Reaching for the stars, going for the gold, standing out among the crowd, climbing to the top of the company ladder. Sounds like grandiose ideas. It may not be the most wise of moves. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 1 of the Torah portion key Tisa. We begin today in Shemot, or Exodus, chapter number 30 and verse number 11. That says, "And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, When you take the census of the children of Israel to register them, then each one shall give an atonement for his life to Yahweh. When you register them, so that there is no plague among them when you register them. Everyone among those who are registered is to give this, half a shekel according to the shekel of the set-apart place, 20 gerahs being a shekel. The half shekel is the contribution to Yahweh. Everyone passing over to be registered from 20 years old and above gives a contribution to Yahweh. The rich does not give more, and the poor do not give less than half a shekel when you give a contribution to Yahweh to make atonement for yourselves." We'll pause there for the time being. The key phrase, as Hebrew reads here, is Tisa et rosh b'nei Israel. In the middle of this phrase is the non-translated word. It's a direct object indicator, the aleph tav, we would say et. And our English translations is not included. Tisa et, aleph tav, rosh b'nei, or sons of Israel. So the full translation is when you elevate or raise up the aleph tav, the et, head or chief ones of the sons of Israel. And that's a little bit important, and it's one of these hidden passages that are a little bit on the secretive side unless you read it in the Hebrew language. The idea of taking a census, a head count, is Yah's idea. Moshe didn't ask to do this. Yah did. Yet he says that during this process, you may not just start counting heads, 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead, every man from 20 years old and above gives a half shekel. And you count the half shekels. And everyone who's then been faithful to give, they're counted by virtue of the shekel that they have contributed. If it's not done correctly, there's no atonement, and it's a problem. Now, the reason that it's a problem is this. Hebraic thought and understanding, which is Yah's social structure, it is Yah's character, it is Yah's design for us to function together. It's His. Hebraic thought comes from Yah. Not everything, but in large part. Yah's standard, Yah's focus is not the individual, but the community. Here in America, everything is built on rugged individualism. Be your own man. Stand up. Be a man. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. If you want to eat, go out there and work, son. It's all about the individual trying to perform, trying to achieve. In our sports arenas, it's all about the glory of the individual, unfortunately, to the cost of trying to play on the team. So there's an understanding from Greek and Roman thought about the excellence of the individual. Yah, however, is looking at the importance of the community. Whatever we do, however we perform, good or bad, it reflects on the community. So I'm not just trying to keep my nose clean or keep my life pure. I am doing it for the benefit of the community. I don't want to be the one whose actions or inactions have proved to be something detrimental to those that I am gathered and immediately connected with. You don't want to bring shame or reproach not only upon the name of our Creator, but also upon the family and the community that He has associated us with. So we are vitally connected to one another, whether socially, culturally, historically, or traditionally, that seems to be the case or not. In Yah's eyes, we are. But it's not just those of us here in America. We need to also remember that we have brothers and sisters, literally family members, that are scattered the world over in a variety of countries. There are those who believe as we do, and they try to keep the commands and walk uprightly. And then there are those who have no idea that that's even something that we're supposed to be doing, but they belong to Messiah. If you belong to Messiah, you belong to me, and vice versa. And so we need to be undergirding and praying for one another. Now, let's move on just a little bit. To single out an individual, let's say an individual man of the host of Israel, is to recognize his importance or his significance. But it's also then to put a bullseye upon him, and Hasatan start investigating what's so special about this character, and how is it that I need to take them out or delete their importance, diminish them, so that they don't achieve what it is that they're being raised up to accomplish. In the book of Luke, chapter number 3, it says in verse 21 and following, "And it came to be when all the people were immersed, Yeshua also being immersed in praying, the heaven was opened, and the set-apart Spirit descended in bodily form like a dove upon him. And a voice came from heaven saying, 'You are my Son, the beloved. In you I did delight.'" At that moment, Yeshua was raised up, individualized, declared to be significant. He was promoted above all of the others that were being immersed, singled out. What happens after that? Chapter number 4, Yeshua, being filled with the set-apart Spirit, returned from the Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness, being tried for 40 days by the devil. He was fasting and praying in the wilderness, in the desert realms, and Hasatan shows up. If he didn't know who Yeshua was prior to this, he certainly knows who he is now. And he is seeking to find out exactly what the importance is. Now, he very well may have already known. But the point is that when Yeshua was singled out, the attacks began to be manifested. Over in the book of John, Yochanan, in chapter number 3, Yeshua says in verse 13, "No one is going up into the heaven except he who came down from the heaven, the son of Adam. And as Moshe lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so the Son of Adam has to be lifted up, so that whoever is believing him should not perish, but possess everlasting life." If we go over to chapter number 12 of Yochanan or John, it says in verse 27, "Now I myself am troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour. But for this reason I came to this hour. Father, esteem your name." Then a voice came from the heaven, "I have both esteemed it and shall esteem it again." So the crowd who stood by and heard it were saying that there had been thunder. Others said, "A messenger has spoken to him." Yeshua answered and said, "This voice did not come because of me, but for your sake. Now is the judgment of this world. Now the ruler of this world shall be cast out. And I, if I am lifted up from the earth, shall draw all men unto myself." Yeshua is the one then that needs to be lifted up and exalted. It's not about us finding glory for our own individual name and person. It's about exalting the Son of the Most High. You see, if we glorify ourselves, if we promote ourselves, it's not that we shouldn't try to achieve or to do something significant. That's true, we should. But not to the place to where we're looking for the acclaim and the applause and it's all about us. No, it's all about Him. Whatever we do, in word or deed, let it be to honor and to glorify Him, that when He is lifted up, He not only draws others to Himself, but he is the one who is designated to take the hit, to take the blow, and yet overcome. Yeshua's got this. More tomorrow. To then, shalom.